this is not your normal world spawn because it's deep in a cave surrounded by lava with no nearby blocks being able to be broken by your fist, and there are thousands of blocks between you and the nearest wood. This is the Caveman Challenge, and my goal with it was to succeed without ever leaving this cave, dying or going above Y0, something I succeeded in against all odds despite explosions, poisoning, and prods. How is that at all possible? There's no food down here besides rotten flesh, there's no books or enchanted books because there's no leather or paper, and everything about this seems next to impossible before considering that it's easy core difficulty. So allow me to explain. Right after I mention the greater than 99% of house fires happen to people who aren't subscribed to the IBX Toycat YouTube channel. Do with that information what you will, just like how you can do with the information that this seed is available and you can try it yourself. In fact, I actively recommend that you do because I love Minecraft challenges. That's why I do so many of them on my channel, and it's one of the best ways to enjoy starting a new Minecraft world, something you might want to do to get out of the monotony of your existing one, or just to get back into the game. The Caveman Challenge is totally that, but it also seems near impossible because the obvious plan A if you will, is just to mine using your fist until you reach the nearest mine shaft. Because this is over 1,000 blocks away, all you need to do is mine 2,000 deep slate blocks with your fist. However, when you actually time how long it takes, it's 15 seconds per block, or 30 seconds for every one block on the x-axis you want to move, which means that if you want to get the full 1,000 blocks to a mine shaft, you have to mine 2,000 blocks in 30,000 seconds, or about 8 hours, which just isn't a challenge to anything but your endurance. So the second strategy that could technically work is if you found a lush cave, you could kill skeletons to get bones, use the bone mill on the azalea trees, and boom, you'd have access to wood. However, this also doesn't work because there are no lush caves anywhere near the spawn on this seed. This makes it an extreme challenge, and one where we're going to have to recruit the bonus chest. However, in this challenge, you're only going to be allowed to use one item from it, which will be a single piece of wood. The rest we throw right into the lava. How can you use a single piece of wood to make this challenge work? Well, the backup plan was reliant on the fact that creepers do blow up some of the blocks that they explode, which means you can get your hands on cobbled deep slate, which can be used like stone for a stone pickaxe. This means all you need is sticks, and all of a sudden you can mine your own blocks without wasting 15 seconds per mine. This is genius, but just relies on me getting myself some sticks. This isn't a normal drop from any of the normal Minecraft mobs, with one exception being the witch, which is a very rare spawn rate by herself, but also only has a 25% chance of giving you those required sticks, which you'll need to do any amount of real mining, and therein lies the challenge. Can you kill enough witches before you get killed yourself? And as you can see, on my first attempt, everything went very well, except for when I died. However, the second attempt went much better. I'm just kidding, I lied, this is my fifth one. And then on my next one, to be fair, the game literally spawned me into lava, something that can happen by the way, but it wasn't until my seventh time that I finally ran into a witch with the possibility of actually killing her, something I actually did, and I got myself precisely nothing because it's only a 25% chance, something that made my death even more heartbreaking. So my biggest run yet was my 8th attempt, and just keep in mind as you watch this that the game will be artificially brightened so you can watch this on YouTube. It is very, very dark being in a cave. However, when we brighten the gameplay to make it look natural, the hotbar gets just a little bit white, so please keep that in mind, as I try to keep in mind that I needed as much rotten flesh as possible if I was going to take down a witch. Even though this is a terrible source of food, do not get that wrong, it is the only source of food, and so I use a creeper to blow up as many zombies as I can to get a decent stash of rotten flesh, so much so that I feel confident enough attacking a witch, except I obviously get skeletons to do the dirty job for me, and what do you know, she actually drops some sticks. Whoa, this has taken hours to get here, but now I'm in the incredibly easy situation where I can just craft a stone pickaxe. Except wait a minute, no, I have to decide, given how hard these sticks were to obtain, I've proven that with my multiple deaths, should I actually go for a better pickaxe than stone? A stone pickaxe will only last just over 100 blocks mined, while a diamond will last just over 1,000. And the obvious decision here is to go for the diamond pickaxe, which you might think requires an iron pickaxe, but I have a strategy which also involves explosions. So this went pretty poorly, but the idea is a pretty good one, I thought. Diamonds are a rare drop in most of Minecraft, but they're quite common in this cave, and creepers have a 1 in 3 chance of dropping the thing they blow up, which is why, after enough of these explosions, I eventually had this moment. I don't know what would happen. Oh, is that a diamond? Yes, we have one. And my first diamond was obtained. I also got, while killing a zombie just after this, my first carrot, which was promising. I might one day have a carrot farm and stop eating rotten zombies, but instead I keep going after creepers and diamonds, and luckily 10 minutes later I get my second one, and then all of a sudden, boom, my third and final diamond required for a pickaxe, which means I was able to craft these together and make myself a tool where I could actually get my own diamonds. And get diamonds I certainly did, and now I figure I have 1600 blocks to mine. I have to desperately hope that I find a lush cave, and so on an adventure I must go. Fortunately, having a whole diamond pickaxe and just looking for any source of wood isn't being particularly fussy, which is why I found one nearly instantly. I'm just kidding, this was a zombie spawner apparently, where I did find my first enchanted apple, but I was desperate for any source of wood, and as my pickaxe slowly dwindled, it looked like it wasn't going to happen, and indeed it didn't. My pickaxe is now looking like this, and I have no way to make another one, and no way to get wood as a whole. I'm actually almost back at square zero. I only have one thing working in my favor, and that's that I theoretically can defend myself with something equivalent to a mighty stone sword, which I then decide to use to kill witches. This seems like it's the best way to get new sticks, but there is a second way that I can get this diamond pickaxe back up and running, and that is to get myself enough iron to make an anvil, and then use some diamonds from around this cave and fix it instead. If this was successful, I'm sure it would be the first time in Minecraft survival history that anyone had found an anvil before a solid source of wood, and so for that reason alone, I figured this idea was worth trying, because I could smelt as much iron as I wanted if I had a lava bucket, which meant all I needed was to smelt 3 iron ingots, which should be nice and easy, because I did pick up a chest earlier. That chest can be smelted alongside a bow, which I picked up from a skeleton. I really wanted this bow to be aggressively used, but I guess if I need this bucket, that could be pretty decent too, and so into the furnace it goes. The strategy of recycling and repairing the pickaxe looked like it was going to be the one, until all of a sudden, while doing this, I found a witch and decided, let's just go for this, and go for it I did, and in the end I ended up with more sticks. What incredible luck I got in terms of these 25% drops. Now all I needed to do was combine it with some diamonds, and I'd be ready to make a second pickaxe, and make it I did. Then I decided I needed to mine much more tactically. Instead of mining up, down, here, there, everywhere, instead I was going to mine at the exact middle of my allowed blocks between layers 0 and 64, that makes minus 32, and then I was obviously going to mine at the exact negative world origin, just because structures tend to generate in weird quadrants like that, and we could do our best maximization, and so mine I did, and it looked really bad. It looked like I was going to waste a whole second pickaxe, but then after just over 15 minutes of mining, I found myself a cave. It doesn't look like a very big cave, but after looking around it, I find a spawner in here, and also a lush cave. That is right, I finally have access to wood, because I can get bones from killing skeletons. I can use those bone mills to grow these azalea trees up, and then as well as getting oak wood, don't ask me why they don't have their own, I can also get my hands on this weird azalea dirt from underneath them, which obviously later is going to be very valuable for farming. I have solved my wood and my food needs in one biome find, and I am so happy. I am going crazy right now. I'm making myself a lot of azalea trees to get a lot of dirt blocks. I make myself a diamond sword, and I also get to do something that seemed ridiculous just a few hours ago. I'm starting to make a base, which is going to be my main place of operations, and it's also going to contain my new crop farm, which I start right now. Right now, it looks like there's only one way to get dirt, which is to grow an azalea, have the block below it turn into dirt, and then hoe that dirt to get rid of these weird cave roots that don't seem to do anything. However, there is another way to turn your dirt into more dirt. When you combine dirt and gravel in a 2-in-2 format, you get coarse dirt. And when you place this coarse dirt down and then turn it into a pathway or a farmland block, it turns right back into regular dirt. Effectively, you can turn dirt and gravel right back into dirt if you want to, which means all of the gravel I've been finding in these caves actually has a use now, and I can finally start the smallest of crop farms, which is big progress. I have a almost source of food if I have enough bones, and I have myself a source of wood. Things are going incredibly for my survival, but how am I going to defeat the dragon at all? I'm glad you asked. This is the next big phase. I need to work out how I'm going to beat the game. Obviously, the base mechanics work the same here as anywhere else, that I need to get some ender pearls, I need to get some blaze rods, I combine them together, and boom, I can go to the end. But there's one crucial extra challenge, which is how am I going to find a stronghold? Most people can throw an IF ender, follow the pathway, and then eventually end up there, but I'm going to need to follow a pathway which might lead me above Y0. I have to find a place big enough to throw an IF ender, and then I have to just keep digging until I find another place wide enough to throw an IF ender, and I then have to hope that the stronghold is at the right layer. That's on top of the challenge of trying to get some blaze rods without going above Y64 in the nether, because that is 64 blocks above the floor there, and that's on top of the challenge of not really having any food, because although I have a farm, it's going to take a while to grow, and it's also not going to be the most efficient, and there's no farmland animals to eat in the meantime. So my plan instead relies on two things. That's going to be exploring and fishing. So while looking around, desperate for Minecraft to give me some new blocks I can do some fun things with, or at the bare minimum an ender pearl, I do actually get one of those first things, which means now I can move into the second phase, which is fishing. Fishing is going to be crucial because it will give me a source of decent food if I can smelt it up, and it will also give me my only source of books. Down here, I cannot get books, which means I cannot make an enchantment table. Despite having a diamond pickaxe and an ungodly number of diamonds, I'm never going to be able to craft one of these beautiful enchantment tables unless I can get my hands on a book. So I go fishing, and it takes a really long time, but eventually a book comes up, but it's feather falling 4. And this gives me a dilemma, because if there's one thing that can kill me in a way that my enchanted golden apple can't save me, it's a sudden fall from more than 23 blocks, which is why I decide this first fishing book has to go on my feet. Then I have to start fishing again and desperately hoping I get another one, and the game takes its time, but it does eventually give me another one, which is very good news, and then I can officially make myself an enchantment table. So right now I don't have any bookshelves because I have precisely one book and it's sitting on my enchantment table, but despite this I can put level 1 enchantments on anything, which means I'm getting efficiency 1 pickaxes and protection 1 armor all the way around, which is surprisingly effective and will slightly decrease my odds of dying, something I really need because I am going into the nether now. This is going to be one of the biggest challenges yet. I'm going into a dimension that is literally known for the amount of fire it throws at you, and I have no lives to respawn from if this goes poorly. Also, I have to watch myself continuously that I don't go above Y64, which is surprisingly hard to do. Bear in mind, the lava lakes in the nether are at Y32, so I really only have about 32 blocks to play with here, and I need to find myself one of the rarer Minecraft structures. I dig through a cave and find a basalt delta. Yay, best thing in the game. And I dig through another cave and find, okay, not too much, but then after going randomly in this direction, I find myself a fortress, but this fortress is depressingly high. I am so high up that I literally might not be able to kill any blazes from a spawner or loot any chests. Fortunately, I do find the staircase, I go down and I find the blazes en masse, by the way. Seriously, never spawning is so broken right now. There are so many of these fiery guys and it's an incredibly tense situation, but I keep things calm and I get myself all of the blaze rods I'll probably ever need, not just for the end portal, but also crucially to make some brewing stands and other fun things, which will be a key part of my strategy later. But for now, I have the much more crucial question of how the heck am I ever going to get a stronghold? So I obviously use this very large cave that I spawned in as my opportunity to find out if there is a stronghold at all and where it's going to be, and it points me in this vague direction, which is very, very loose. There is very little I can do with that. Where is the stronghold? Is it near the surface? Is it near bedrock? It's just somewhere in that direction, and so I've got to mine that way, and it's going to take a lot. In fact, it takes an entire diamond pickaxe and then another entire diamond pickaxe as I mine diagonally in the direction of the pearl. I go almost a full 1,000 blocks before deciding I haven't found a cave. I don't know how that didn't happen, but after not finding a cave, I decide to make myself a big enough area to throw my IF ender, and so once I've done that painstakingly, I throw it, and it didn't matter anyway because my IF ender ends up in the stone. This is really bad news, but at least it tells me that I've got to go somewhere over there, back the way I came, which is good news because I can use this information to hopefully find myself the stronghold. And I do a lot of digging, and honestly, digging after digging after digging, ending up in a deep dark biome, which makes me really sure I'm not going to find a stronghold. Going through so many caves, finding so many weird diamonds and odds and ends, I come to the conclusion eventually I'm never going to find the stronghold. It seriously looks like every sign is pointing to this thing being above me. I've made a terrible mistake and I got overly optimistic. It's something I was starting to regret, and honestly, when you look at these tunnels in third person, you can see why, but also when you see that after doing the last few mines that I was going to do for the day and finding this stronghold brick, you can see that actually I was mining around it the entire time. Look how close some of these tunnels came to it, but either way, I found a skull-covered stronghold, and that is what I was going to explore in my 5th caveman challenge episode, which by the way, these are full live things you can obviously watch, but the 5th episode was dedicated to exploring this stronghold. This seemed like Minecraft throwing something in my face and saying, yeah, this is meant to be super challenging. This isn't just going to be a normal stronghold, it's going to be a deep, dark, skulk-covered one. If the warden spawns in, you're going to be doomed. And it was a big challenge the game threw at me, but fortunately for me, it turns out there were no skulk detectors in here, so it actually worked in my favor. It looks super spooky, but there are no mobs that can spawn here, so I'm free to get my trims, I'm free to get the enchanted books, and I'm free to even destroy the library to take back home with me. Things are going absolutely wonderful, and all I need to do is fill this end portal, and I'm going to be in with a shot of killing the dragon. Problem though, it has precisely 0 IFNders in there, and I wasted both of mine finding this place, which means I need to find 12 ender pearls, and my goal of this challenge is not to do anything in the nether that can be done in the overworld in a cave, and so technically my best way is to go killing endermen in an overworld cave, which sounds kind of boring, so I have a better idea. You know, there's a fun thing we did in the super flat world where we made a village from scratch in a place where you'd never imagine them being. I figured we could do that here too, and so by combining some spider eyes with some mushrooms and some sugar, I would get some fermented spider eyes to splash potion of weakness some zombie villagers down, which seems like it would be challenging. How are you going to get sugar? But fortunately, it's a rare drop from a witch, and I've killed enough witches today that I not only have the sugar, but also have some bottles required for precisely this. So after brewing my water bottles into awkward potions and then into weakness potions, apparently that middle step wasn't required, I make these into splash potions of weakness, and fortunately enough, just after making 3 of these, I find 3 zombie villagers, bring them back home to my base, and now I'm curing 3 separate guys. I'm going to have a 3-person village in just a few minutes, which is incredible, and something I didn't even think about at the time is the fact that they're all going to be cured zombie villagers, and they're going to be incredibly grateful of their trades, which means that this guy is going to buy rotten flesh at a slightly reduced rate, but most importantly, he's going to buy gold for 1 gold ingot per emerald. This is such a good deal that I immediately race up his trades, and then he also will sell me an ender pearl for a single emerald each. 12 gold ingots equals 12 ender pearls. Good luck finding a piglin that will give you odds like that. But more seriously, I do start to turn this into a bit of a villager farm. It's really nice. I build them a villager house, and I make them very safe into the wall here. They very much appreciate being trapped in these slots, I think you'll find. But you can see that my cave that was just meant to be a functional base has started to become something quite nice. It's a miniature village combined with a farm. I've got composters. I've got all sorts of odd things here. I can fish, I can farm, I can trade, I can do most of the Minecraft functions deep down here underground. It's incredibly exciting, but I have no time to revel in it because I instead have to get to the end. So after going and making my tunnel just a little bit wider, I am going straight to the end portal using these ender pearls, and let me show you what it looked like when I got there. Ah, scary spawn. Very scary spawn. So we're gonna make ourselves a little thing. Another little thing. We want to get off this as soon as possible because the dragon has knocked me off this before. I'm at 61 right now. Oh, no, 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 don't knock me in the air. Okay. So she did knock me in the air, but I did look at an enderman funny, and he does not like when you do that. So at 60, don't ass at me, don't ass at me. I can jump from here, and I can hit her. Okay, I can, without, 63 is exactly the right height to attack the dragon. Thank God. We attack once through the neck. Oh no, why did I do that? Once through the neck, and then we get out of here. Oh, I killed an enderman. Look at me. Okay, in we go. In for the head. Don't get hit by the acid. Ooh. So it's one more swing after this. She's gonna leave just before she's done. So if we just keep so she's gonna heal up. I need to make sure she doesn't heal up enough, and I'm gonna use the arrows to do precisely that. She might fly in early, which is my dream, and she does fly in early. Yes! Okay, chat. Assuming nothing terrible happens right now, I have officially slain the dragon without having to go... Oh, God, never mind. Without having to go 64 blocks above the bottom of the world. Yeah! That is the Ender Dragon slayed. I have officially proven that you can beat Minecraft without ever once going 64 blocks above the bottom of the world. In other words, you can be a caveman and still beat Minecraft. This challenge seems so ridiculously impossible at the start, but I have now officially done it. And now the only question that comes up is, what can you do from here onwards? Think about it. You can see that an end gateway generates in the distance here, but I can't ever go through it because it's above Y64. Even if I want to go to the end islands and get an elytra, all of that stuff stuff is so high above Y64, and so what can I do from here onwards? I don't know, but I know that I really want to go. This challenge was meant to end at the Ender Dragon, but it is going to be continuing because when I get back from my fun little trip in Quebec, I will be doing Caveman Part 7. You can watch the entire playlist so far if you want to get caught up, but if you want to see my favorite streaming series continue as we go to the End Islands, as we make a bigger trading village, and indeed we try to make a terraformed cave, we want to build the overworld but down here below Y0, that is something you are welcome to do, and I'll also have a 200-day video up when we get to that milestone as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe so you see those live streams, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.